Welcome back. Week 9. Big week. This is probably the biggest bye week we've had in a long time. I think there's 8 teams on buys? 6, 8. That's brutal. He's gone. As soon as we get live. Yeah, the bye weeks are brutal, man. I mean, it's not something I'm feeling right now, especially owning, a couple Dallas people, Dallas D, and a couple Giants, and a little bit of filler in other spots. But boy, this bye week's tough. Also, fun fact: I was looking at the lines. There are a lot of teams that have a greater than 10-point margin this week. Well, I don't think I remember a week where there's been at least 3 with a 10-point margin, and there's 3 this week. So
yeah, I feel like usually in the NFL it has to be like a pretty trash matchup for it to go over double digits.
But like Kansas City's 12.5 over Tennessee, Philly's 13.5 over Houston, and Buffalo's 12.5 over the Jets. According to this,
Oh yeah, see him. Ask us your start sit questions.
Save.
So I'll who plays tomorrow night? It's a bad game, right?
Yeah, it's Philly Houston, right? Pretty sure.
Okay, not terrible.
No, I mean you got Philly. You've got AJ Brown, who went off last week. I think he had 34 points in the first half, and probably won you your week unless you went up against McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara, because they both dropped 40. So we had three 40-point things last week.
CMC, Kamara. I don't think
AJ was at like 38, 39.
Yeah, I was about to say he didn't. He did nothing in the second half.
I didn't need to. They were up in like 40.
Yeah. I survived bye week, at least for the first part. I think my team, from what I've looked at, and not that I really planned it, but a lot of my guys, usually it's just kind of like one guy that I have out. It's like last week I had Kelsey out in both leagues.
Yeah.
So I get him back. I'm playing a pretty good team in my other league this week, and he's got Barkley on a bye, which I'm happy about. He doesn't really have anybody to replace him.
Yeah, I beat a Mahomes Kelsey stack guy, and I was super happy.
Yeah, if you catch those people. So, all right, well. Oh, he's gone again. And he's back. He's back.
Kyler had a crazy performance of absolute shit due to the fact that Call of Duty dropped once again.
Did he though? Well, I mean, I don't know. I thought he played well because DeAndre Hopkins got me 30.
Yeah, but then they lost, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think he played well. I think he was.
I don't care how well he plays, as long as he throws that man the football.
Yeah, I mean, he had 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, but he also had 2 picks. So kind of interesting. Call of Duty comes out.
Bro, I'll take 24.64 points any day.
Did he have 24?
Yeah.
So he did pretty decent. Team wise, though, he didn't help them win.
Nah.
Kind of.
If your touchdowns, if you throw one more touchdown, if you throw multi-touchdowns and your touchdowns are more than your picks, then I think you can say it's a good game.
If you win.
I mean,
what?
Yeah. I mean, but you got to think, right? Turnovers are her killers scoring.
Right. But I mean, they're only -2. So if my dude throws.
Well, fantasy wise, yes. Real life wise, no.
Well, I mean, yeah, we're on here talking about fantasy, though.
Yes. Tom Brady continues to disappoint. Derek Carr ghosted. It was kind of abysmal. Also, it looks like Joe Burrow's not good without Jamar Chase. Which is kind of weird.
That was a strange game.
It was, wasn't it?
I was happy, but it was a strange game.
I'm not willing to say Burrow's bad without Chase yet.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to dive deeper into that before arriving at that conclusion. But
yeah,
they also couldn't run the ball at all, so that always helps.
I think it's more of their offensive line is still trash.
Yeah, I mean, you can dress a pig up, but it's still a pig. Why is this doing this?
Did y'all talk about AJ Brown yet while I was going from the car to the house?
We did. We said that he had a hell of a game, as well as
You were mentioning the big boy performers.
yeah, CMC and Kamara.
Him pointing at those dudes while they were on the ground was so cold.
Yeah, he was. No, it was a good week if you had those guys. If you win against those guys, I feel for you. Savannah got killed by a guy scoring 200. I scored 200 in a league, and I lost to Ben scoring 189, 180. So, not a fun week, but this week could be different. Let's kind of talk about the games. First game, Houston versus Philly. Surprising, Brandon Cooks didn't get moved. We had heard, I guess, rumors that it was coming down to, and he may get moved, but it doesn't look like he is.
Honestly, don't know that he would really help a team out that much.
Apparently, it was the cap hit next year that was steering people away. It's an $18 million cap hit next year.
Good gosh.
Okay, that man. I think Philly kind of cruises. They're a 12-point favorite or 13.5-point favorite. So I think they cruise. Not much really to say there. This may be one of those games where Damian kind of comes back to earth because this Eagles defense is pretty good.
I'm not starting them.
You might. This is a tough bye week. There are a lot of teams on bye, so if you have to start them, I understand. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm kind of hesitant unless I'm struggling, I guess you could say.
He would be in my flex spot. I would start Hopkins and Stevenson over Pierce.
Yeah.
Just looking at the leagues where I have Pierce.
Yeah.
Which are two of them. And I think in my other one I'll probably have to start him because Swift is probably hurt.
Yeah, I can see that.
Nico Collins is out too officially for whatever that's worth.
Interesting. Nico.
I don't think I could start a single Texans player in that game. And it's a Thursday night too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like Thursday nights, and no, I think I'm with you. I think I kind of hold off and just
punt that shit to Sunday.
Yeah, just kind of wait for other shit to happen.
I mean, it's funny though because the Eagles, you could pretty much start everybody. I mean, start Miles Sanders, Hurts, AJ Brown.
I would say you could probably even get away with starting just because of how bad the rush defense is. You could probably get some Kenny Gainwell in there if you're desperate. I don't think he's the worst if you're really desperate.
Right. Especially with the bye weeks. This is like the first of the two worst bye weeks. I think the other's week 14.
Yeah, something like that. This one's tough though, dude.
Derek Stingley has like one of the worst PFF ratings for deep ball coverage too.
Does he really? He's that bad?
Yeah, that's something of note as well that I saw earlier today.
Means my boy gonna eat.
Let him eat. Yeah, I mean, he's looked what he's been DeAndre Hopkins, wide receiver 1 since returning or 2. The man's good. If you stashed him, you are super happy you stashed him.
Oh, we're talking about AJ Brown.
Or AJ Brown. Oh, I'm thinking DeAndre Hopkins because he's Houston. Yeah, AJ Brown has been phenomenal as well
He's wide receiver 7 right now.
on the season.
Yep.
That's so good.
Which is, I mean, I'm trying to think. I think I took him with in a 12-team league.
3rd, 4th?
I think it was 3rd.
Yeah. Kind of mid-3rd, late 3rd.
Pretty good return.
I took him. I took him 3rd as well.
Yeah, I mean, you think 7, so that puts him probably in the top 20 players value-wise. So you're looking good. He should be a second rounder, first or second rounder, and you're getting him 3rd for sure. Huge value. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this Eagles team. I think they, fire away all Eagles players, the defense, Hurts, all that.
I want to say the defense with Quinn too.
Yeah.
Would they be your Super Bowl favorite?
The Eagles
to win or to get there?
Either. I mean,
I would.
I think they've got to be in the conversation. I would say
they're definitely the favorite in the NFC.
I would say they're probably the Super Bowl favorite for sure.
I don't know how definitively it is because the 49ers look pretty damn good too.
The 49ers aren't even leading their division though.
I mean, yeah, but they're trending up, dude. Like, I can see 49ers Eagles in the NFC Championship.
And that would be the next team, but I just like if you said, "Hey, do you want Jimmy Garoppolo or Jalen Hurts?" I'm gonna take Jalen Hurts.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like that's what it's gonna come down to.
I'd say it's either them or Buffalo. I think Buffalo might still be my favorite. But the Eagles have such a better run game overall. Their defense just got better grabbing Quinn. I think the Eagles have got to be a Super Bowl favorite. I don't think you can.
Yeah. To me, I feel like there's like 4. I would say 4 teams, like 2 in the NFC, 2 in the AFC, that you feel like a legitimate. This is like the fringe contenders, but I would say like Buffalo, Kansas City, San Fran, and Philly.
I'm right with you.
The 4 teams that I feel like have, and of those 4, I would say that I think they all have like a slight weakness.
See, I would almost take the Vikings over San Fran. I just don't. I mean, San Fran lost to Atlanta.
I do not trust Kirk Cousins.
They lost to the Broncos. Yeah, but you trust Jimmy Garoppolo?
More than Kirk Cousins, yes.
Because Jimmy's made it to the Super Bowl and then made it to an NFC Championship.
I guess, but I don't know. I see more out of the Vikings week to week. I like them so much better. Offensive, I guess maybe not. I don't know.
I think they're deeper. Like, I mean, especially with the addition of McCaffrey.
I think McCaffrey may push the scale.
Like McCaffrey, Kittle, Debo, Ayuk. Like, I mean, you got 4
studs.
Yeah.
Big playmakers, yeah. No, I can see that.
I think San Fran's closer to Philly than you guys give it credit for, but I think we all agree on the top 4.
Yeah, but San Fran's also dropped games to the fucking Bears. Like,
I mean, every team drops a game. Like, the Bills lost to the Jags last year. So, I mean.
But they didn't make it to the Super Bowl either.
That's true. But you know what I'm saying, though. I mean, good teams.
But you can't win the easy games.
Atlanta's also leading their division now. So, I mean, they're obviously not like a Super Bowl contender, but they are leading their division.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't have as much confidence in San Fran. I think they're on that fringe. I think they're in that bottomer group. I would say Eagles, Bills, Chiefs are the only three I'm confident in. And then I would put Vikings, San Fran, Dallas, maybe Seattle, and maybe Baltimore in that next subgroup.
Seattle's going to be good with how young they are, but that's a different topic.
Yeah, Seattle's cruising, dude. They're impressing me.
What's our first Sunday game?
We're all going with Philly, right?
Yeah, Chargers versus Atlanta. Atlanta escaped one last week, 4-4, but I like what the Chargers got going. Mike Will's still out. That kind of sucks. Look for Palmer to do pretty good. Is Keenan gonna play?
No shot.
Yeah, Keenan may wind up being this season's biggest bust.
Dude, honestly, I mean, unless you just want to hold on to him, I think if you could trade him and get something back.
Yeah.
I don't like hamstring injuries. To me, are like the kiss of death from like a football perspective,
especially like a wideout. But it's not even that. It's like we're not getting much updates. It's just like maybe he can play this week, and then he doesn't play, and then it's so it's like
the update was that he re-injured it during the bye week.
Yeah,
it's the bye week.
Yeah.
He also hasn't practiced this week. He didn't practice today.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm avoiding it. I want Mike Will to come back. Hopefully they keep finding Eckler and feeding Eckler. Herbert's looked kind of low end lately. I think he's like QB 12 or something.
They are doing a very bad job of maximizing his cheap contract.
Yeah. It's interesting. Atlanta, on the other side, has done pretty good with what they've got. I think Mariota has been much more than they thought they were going to have in him. Because I remember at the beginning of the year, people were like, "Oh, he'll be 2 games and then replaced." But no, he's looked great. He's got good rushing upside. He's a decent little flex option, or a bye week filler if you need him.
Also, the streak continues of me picking the Panthers and them losing.
I'm glad we had a follow-up.
It was in their grasp, and they still found a way. That DJ Moore was like, "Yo, we need a better draft pick."
Yeah.
DJ Moore was like, Padge predicted us on the podcast. I gotta do something.
Yeah, I was shocked he didn't get traded after that.
I want somebody better throwing me the football, so I'm gonna take my helmet off.
Give me CJ, and he just takes the helmet off. I did see where some rules people were like, technically he wasn't on the field, so it shouldn't have counted because he was off the field.
Flag, man, such a petty flag.
Like, it was the hypest moment of your game, almost probably of his career so far. Like, let him celebrate. The no fun league's piece of shit.
Would I have thrown the flag? No, but also you got to have like more awareness than that too.
You do, and I get it.
I've never understood the taking the helmet off as a celebration.
Yeah,
it's dumb.
Dumb. I agree. But yeah, it looks like Drake London's there. He's kind of that low end wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 range.
He's ranked 39 right now, and he's been dwindling the past few weeks.
I think a lot of that is the rush game. They run the ball more than basically any other team. I think they do lead the league in rush attempts. Algier and Huntley are averaging like 15 each.
And Patterson's been removed off the IR, and he's practicing again.
Yeah, I think he's going to come back next week, but you could possibly get him this week. June.
June.
But big thing for me, Kyle Pitts caught a touchdown. And that's, 2 games in a row?
He also had decent volume. He had 5 catches for 80 yards, I believe.
He had almost 20 points.
I'm shocked. So it's almost like they just say, first half of the season, we don't have Pitts. And then second half of the season, it's like, let's use Pitts. I mean, I don't know. Interesting. I almost got a good trade done for him, and now it's a little too late. But
it's like they got freaking South Carolina's offensive coordinator out there running these things. I want to get Kyle Pitts the ball. I really do. I want to get him the ball. Then get him the ball.
Leaves him in the block 9 out of 10 throwing plays. Chargers, everybody?
No, Falcons.
Ooh,
you thought, and now you're outnumbered. Chargers are leading the league in average yards per carry allowed, and the Falcons run the ball the most.
And all they have is DeAndre Carter and Josh
Palmer.
And Everett. Everett's gonna have a good game.
Look, they got Everett and they got Eckler and a dream. Miami just bolstered their team a good bit, picking up Bradley Chubb, Jeff Wilson Jr. They face off against the Bears, who just got thrashed defensively the other night. And this is a very Dolphins team. I mean, Bradley Chubb's going to get there, but he's not going to be fully integrated in yet. But I still think this is a strong Dolphins defense. And then you look at the offense, and Mostert's been great as long as he stays healthy. And then Hill, Waddle. I mean, Waddle had 30 this week, and Hill had
both did.
Yeah, Waddle popped off.
But I mean, that's what they've been doing. So as long as Tua's there, fire them up. I think Gesicki's still valuable. Mostert's still the guy. I don't think Jeff Wilson's going to steal it. I think Jeff Wilson's just going to come in and help out where Chase Edmonds was, and we saw that was basically nowhere. So not too worried in regards to those two.
Gesicki's only valuable this game because Roquan Smith got traded to the Ravens.
Yeah, Roquan's gone. So on the other side, the Bears, they basically got rid of everybody. They fire sailed, but they did go out and get Claypool for Fields. I think Fields is still startable. He runs the shit out of the ball. Very impressed with him. 20 plus on his last 3 or 4 games.
Most amount of blowback I ever got on Twitter was when I tweeted a few weeks ago that Justin Fields would be like a top 8, top 10 quarterback if he had just an average, mediocre offensive line. Dude is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, he's a great athlete. The big thing here, does Chase Claypool help them? Probably. Gives them another option. But I don't think it pushes them over any edges. I don't think they're winning many more games just because of him.
They got to pay him next year, too.
Yeah, but I mean, he's young, so we'll see.
He complements Mooney really well. You have a physical receiver, and then you have a route-running speedster.
Yeah. I'm going to go Dolphins.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Dolphins, and kind of similar to how me and Padge were on the Mostert thing, I'm going to have a hot take that Jeff Wilson Jr. takes over this backfield.
Oh.
That would not shock me at all.
Jeff Wilson Jr. takes over and is the goal line back, and Mostert's the third down back.
Yeah,
hot take of the day.
For his speed and okay. Jeff
Wilson's just been more durable, I feel like, than Mostert.
Yeah, and I think that's the one downside of Mostert is the injury and the durability. Daniel, Panthers versus Bengals. Are you going to go with the Panthers or?
The Bengals.
Watch the Panthers win now. I will lose it.
I mean, Panthers, we talked about their game, kind of rough. DJ Moore looked good, though. I think as long as PJ Walker's back there, he loves DJ Moore. The other thing is Donta Foreman, the emergence. I mean, the volume's there, and I think it's a similar situation as Dameon Pierce. It's like not good teams, but shit, give me 20, 25 carries. I'm going to get enough yards to make it viable. Donta just broke off a couple big runs, got his 3 touchdowns. It was a great thing. I'm trying to sell him probably high because, I mean, right now it's looking like, oh, shit, 20 plus a game. That's going to come back down to earth. You know, this Panthers seems not enough of a threat through the air to really keep running the ball like that. Teams are just going to load the box and make PJ throw on them. So I'm trying to sell Donta if I have him, but he's not a bad person to have, if that makes any sense.
I wouldn't mind having him just because he has the track record and he's getting the volume, like you said. I think if you can trade him, like good, but if not, I would be content having him on my bench or in my lineup. So
yeah, he's a good per matchup kind of.
Don't sell him just to sell him.
No,
make sure you're getting good shit back.
But if you can upgrade, like if you can tag him plus somebody and upgrade a position your weekend, I mean, shit, you got him off waiver wires 2 weeks ago. It's not like it's a drastic change. You're probably not starting him over your starting running backs. So if you can upgrade a position, well, unless you went no running back strategy and you're relying on him.
If DeAndre Swift isn't playing this week, I'll be starting him.
Facts.
And in a minute.
And he's definitely the back to have in that backfield. Like
yes,
even if Chuba's healthy, I would still give the
nod. Coming back, I'm still with Donta for sure. And I think we've been on that train.
He's ranked 14th on the week too, in case you're curious.
It's impressive. Cincinnati, it's been hit or miss. They're 4-4. I'm going with them for this game, but I also think that they are good enough offensively to be okay while Jamar's out. I mean, Higgins, Boyd, they look great. Hurst is fine. You're going to run the ball with Mixon. You still have Joe Burrow. So, I think this team's fine.
I'm a little down on Mixon this week because the Panthers, if they're good at one thing, it's defending the run.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little hesitant on Mixon. I think you still start him, but you got to set expectations accordingly. Yeah. I think this game will be like an air raid game for Burrow, similar to like when he had like 300 yards going into half or whatever it was against New Orleans. I think they're going to throw it around that much.
Yeah, I like it. Only Panthers I'm starting would be Donta Foreman and DJ Moore. Bengals, I'd pretty much fire them all up just because it's hard to not. Green Bay Packers, Detroit. Oh, Daniel, you already picked. Okay. Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions.
Originally, I had Detroit winning, but that was with the assumption that Swift would be playing.
I don't think it matters which running back's out there. I still think Detroit wins this game.
That's fair. I'll ride with you on that one.
I mean, they're going to have Amon. So I think they have the better receiver between the two teams. Losing TJ Hawkinson, it's one thing, but, they still have the better run game. I think they may have the better offensive line as well. I mean, Bakhtari's okay for Green Bay, but I don't care.
They definitely have the best. They definitely have the better pass blocking O-line.
Yeah. And then I just haven't seen anything out of Green Bay that's like, oh my God, they're great. Last week was interesting. They ran the ball more than I've ever seen Green Bay run the ball. I think Rodgers had 10 pass attempts? Like, it was crazy. And they still lost. Like, I don't understand why they were losing by 10, and Rodgers wound up ending with 30. But the first half, he only had 10 pass attempts. Aaron Jones got his 20 carries. A.J. Dillon got 10. I don't know. I feel like this team's still looking for something. They do get Allen Lazard back. That should help, but I'm leaning Detroit.
Go ahead, Patch.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go Green Bay. I think maybe they, I don't know, try something different.
What can they try?
I don't know.
Yeah,
This feels like a Green Bay has owned Detroit pick.
Right.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, it's just kind of a crazy thing. Like when we started the season, it's like, all right, Green Bay, Rodgers coming off an MVP season, their defense got better. Sure they lost Devontae, but Lazard's still there. They've got two great running backs, but this is a 3-5 Green Bay team, and it has not looked good. What's Rodgers ranked in fantasy? He's got to be 20th.
I think the defense is still fine. It's just the offense is horrid.
Yeah, it just doesn't exist.
I'll look up the Rodgers thing while y'all are going.
I really would like to see Swift play again, but also as a Jamal owner, I'm happy without Swift playing.
Yeah, I would like to see Swift play too.
Yeah. I think he's right up there with Keenan Allen as biggest bust this year.
I think he's higher than Keenan Allen on the bust
mobile. Okay.
Because he was like a second-round pick.
Late first if you're in a 12-teamer.
That's true.
I think he was picked. I think his ADP was like pick 12.
I think I think he went in the second round in mine.
Yeah, or like 12-2 or 12 or second 2.
I was in the first round, or I was at the late first round for 2 of my 3, and I either drafted Mixon or him in both. I took the other with the next pick.
Yep.
So
unless Chase fell unless Chase fell to me.
Rodgers is ranked 18th, by the way.
Okay. I thought he was like 20, but 18's
sounds right.
Pretty bad for but Swift's hurting. Does Brock Wright come in and take over Hawkinson's stuff? Okay. Good to know.
I think those targets like Pad shaking his head. I agree with him. I think they just get reallocated out to everybody else.
If you're picking up
Amon-Ra, St. Brown,
Amon-Ra, Jamal, Swift if he plays,
Reynolds,
Khalif Raymond, Josh Reynolds.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. If you're picking up the Lions' new tight end, bruh.
Probably a Pitts owner that came up too quick.
You probably haven't won a game this year.
Yeah. Yeah, either a Pitts owner or a Darren Waller owner.
Bro, I got a sleeper, yo.
Check out Brock Wright, bro. No one knows about him yet.
The only people picking him up are people that went to wherever college he graduated from.
Or his family.
Yeah.
No, his family's not even picking him up. Not at that point.
Sheesh. Y'all are ruthless.
Colts versus the Patriots. Kind of a fun little game. Patriots have been kind of
this game. My goodness. Nobody even cares.
Patriots have been kind of sneaky fantasy-wise. I do think Jacoby Myers carries some value as well as Ramondre. And that's about it in that regards. Colts fired their offensive coordinator. Something to watch. The new guy may or may not use John Taylor more. They got rid of Naheem Hines, which means they have confidence in Taylor, which obviously you should. But I also think Deion Jackson they have confidence in. I would probably handcuff him. I think he's a very valuable handcuff. We saw what he did 3 weeks ago when he came in. John Taylor's continued to get banged up. He got banged up again last week. He's been banged up a lot. If this new coach does use him a lot, increased usage is increased risk. So Deion Jackson might be one of those guys that I'm like handcuff.
Absolutely.
Because they like what they have enough that they got rid of Naheem Hines. But yeah, keep an eye on it. Obviously, Sam Ehlinger is the quarterback there, so I would hamper expectations for Pittman, Paris Campbell, Alec Pierce.
This might be the lamest game of the
week. Look out for Jelani Woods. Just keep an eye on him and Mo Alley-Cox. But
I've been thinking about this game since the beginning of the week, and I still
No,
have
I've been
nothing.
thinking about it since the beginning of the season. When I saw it on the schedule,
I still have nothing though. I don't know what to think of this game.
play the New England defense if you've got it, and ride with New England.
Do not pick up Zach Moss because he got traded to the Colts.
Yeah, no.
Deion Jackson's the guy.
Deion Jackson's the guy. Zach Moss is like added into that trade just because Zach Moss has been a healthy scratch more times in his career than he's been a healthy start.
I mean, I know it seems like an obvious thing, but it still has to be said.
No. I like that you said it. Buffalo versus the New York Jets. New York Jets have been impressive. I mean, they're 5-3. They keep cooking.
They let me down last week.
I'm going to be very impressed to see what they do with the addition of James Robinson. There is Michael Carter there. It'll be interesting. That's a backfield to kind of keep an eye on. But I think Buffalo just has way too much for this team.
Patch, who did you pick? Did you pick the Patriots too in that previous game?
I didn't really pick, but yes, I'll probably pick the Patriots.
All right, cool. So we're three with the Patriots.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going the Bills. Expectations were pretty big last week going into that Patriots game for them, and they dropped an egg. So defense played well, but I think Zach Wilson had 3 turnovers. So I'm going Bills regardless.
Okay.
Bills.
Yeah.
Just the Jets.
Do you think the addition of Hines changes anything?
I didn't understand that move because James Cook was looking fine.
Yeah. Do you think it hurts James Cook?
Yeah. At least for this year.
Yeah.
I don't know what his contract situation is. I don't know what Hines' contract situation is.
I'd have to look it up.
I mean, he's got to be because he got cut. So, I mean, they just signed him like he's on just a 1-year deal, right?
I thought he was under contract. I didn't think he got cut. Maybe he did.
Did he get cut?
Yeah, remember, like he got cut at the beginning of the year.
Oh, and brought back in?
Right, and brought back in.
I'm about to look it up here.
I don't remember.
Like we were shocked when they cut him because it was like this dude is good.
According to
yes, he did. You're right because he went. Go ahead, Deuce. Sorry.
According to Spot Track, there's a potential out after 2023. But his contract is through 2024. The 2023 out has a 0 dead cap hit. That's why there's an out.
Interesting.
Maybe they signed him to a new deal.
Maybe that was it. I don't know.
It's not his rookie deal. I know that.
It just muddies that backfield again. I'm still not a Singletary fan. I'm not a James Cook fan. I sold James Cook. I sold him on that hype. Oh, there was so much preseason hype on James Cook, and guess what I did? Send that man. He's tiny. No, he's like 5'9", 185. He's tiny. He's not built for the league.
Well, it'd be one thing if they actually
used him
threw to their running backs, but they really don't. They throw it downfield. So
yeah, that boy had a fumble on his first career touch. Career over. I mean, Brett Favre's had a pick 6 on his first throw, so who knows. I think Trevor Lawrence did too. Bills, Daniel.
Bills.
Cool. Minnesota Vikings, Washington Commanders. Brian Robinson's been all right. They got away from the run last week, throwing the ball. As long as Heineke's there, Scary Terry's a start. On the other side, Cook. I don't think I would be starting Hawkinson this week, but I do like that trade for them. He's a really good blocking tight end. So I think he helps Dalvin Cook a little bit. And I think he opens it up a little bit for Justin Jefferson.
I would never start Hawkinson.
No? You've seen what Irv Smith does?
I mean, when has Minnesota had a
Kyle Rudolph in 2018.
I thought that they would use Irv Smith this year because of the way the Rams used Higbee, but
yeah,
it's the same thing last year and the year before. It's like, oh, tight end Minnesota, and they just don't do anything.
Yeah, I'll be curious. I mean, again, not starting him this week, but if his usage is there this week, I don't know. I mean, Hawkinson's probably the best tight end they've had in quite some time.
Yeah, they really don't have a track record of having good tight ends. Yeah. I think that's why the fan base was so excited when they got Irv Smith.
Right. Maybe that changes. Maybe he does do well. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not starting him from the jump, though. I mean, I need to see what happens here.
No.
Not hold my breath for him.
Well, I have Hawkinson and I have Darren Waller. And
I'm actually more towards you than I am. I'm more towards you, Padge, and I am like feeling good about him.
Hawkinson or Darren Waller, who do you start?
Isn't Waller hurt?
He's a game time decision.
Probably Mike Brock or whatever that guy's
name. Brock, right?
I'm probably streaming at that point, to be honest with you.
I don't have the bench.
Just don't even play a tight end.
I'm already
lose points.
Yeah, I'm already so far into my bench right now because of bye week. I have no space for anybody. So
I'd start Evan Ingram over TJ Hawkinson.
That's a bold prediction. Is that going
at least for this week,
or just this week? Yeah,
I think just this. Well, at least the next two.
Yeah. Everybody rolling with Minnesota.
Yeah. So I dropped Brian Robinson in my other league to stash Kyron Williams. Too early? Too bold?
No, I mean
a mistake.
I see what your move is, right? Because Brian's splitting with Gibby, which we thought he would have a full workload. He's not. Gibson looks to be the receiving guy still. And it's also a team that's like, what are they going to do? The big thing is, what is Kyron Williams going to do? It's a lot more question marks, a lot more gamble. Somebody's got to do good in LA as a running back, and they didn't trade for somebody, which means they have faith in either Darrell Henderson, who we've seen and it hasn't been productive, or Kyron Williams, who they drafted and they like. So I think the gamble can be there. It could be strong.
Yeah, I don't.
Personally, I think it was a mistake, but that's just me.
You gave up a known commodity for an unknown.
Yeah, I just didn't really have. I don't know. I don't know that somebody is gonna beat me with Brian Robinson.
Yeah, but are you going to beat someone with Kyron Williams?
That's why. But I don't necessarily I wasn't playing Brian Robinson. Like, he was on my bench,
right?
So my thought process was that, of my bench players, and I think honestly, George Pickens would have been my first cut until Claypool got moved out. And so my bench consists of Pickens, Dobbs, A.J. Dillon, Brian Robinson, and Adam Thielen.
So was it just like an upside type play?
Yeah, because I feel like unless – and it may be one of those things, and I think – right now, I still feel iffy about it. I just, I didn't want to wait and Kyron Williams have a good game and not be able to get him.
Right.
And he may not have a good game at all. But I also think that there's some other people that I have somebody on IR. I have Treylon Burks on IR, who I would like to clear a roster spot for end of season. And so I'm gonna have to be able to drop somebody anyways.
That's true.
So,
I guess it's not like a horrible investment, but I don't know. Last week was his only game. You know, he had 20 carries and had 17 the previous 2 weeks. Maybe it was just a weird game.
yeah.
I mean, I like to stick with the volume. I think, you know, as much as I like Antonio Gibson as a player and like what he's capable of, I think he's going to wind up screwing up again at some point. You know, like it kind of like seems inevitable.
And he is gone. Because Ron Rivera, I think, has him on a short leash.
It takes a lot for me to come off of the volume, even if it's not as efficient as it should be. Like, yeah, his yards per carry aren't great, but he's always, you know, like once they get inside the 5, he's going to be the guy that gets the carries. Now, if they throw
drop A.J. Dillon to get Brian Robinson back.
See, I'm still one of those guys that's holding out hope for A.J. Dillon.
I am too. I really, at some point, I'm going to drop the hammer and I'm going to say he's not my guy, but
he's just too talented to not be doing well.
Well, but I also would argue, aside from Pollard and Deion Jackson, he's probably the most valuable handcuff. And Jamal Williams, but Jamal's starting, so don't count him. I would say he's probably the most valuable handcuff. If something happens to Aaron Jones, or if they keep this rushing. I mean, he didn't have a bad week last week. He had 10 rushes and like 40, 50 yards, whatever.
It's just a tough matchup.
Yeah, so I don't think I would drop A.J. Dillon. I think I'd rather have A.J., but it's close.
Yeah, we'll see how it
He's got a decent playoff schedule too, so that's why I'm holding out hope. So
yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, if dropping Brian Williams is the reason I end up losing that league, then I'll be pretty upset.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough question to navigate.
I also don't have like enough faith in the Rams offensive line to be able to invest in Kyren Williams. Like the only one I would have somewhat comfortability like investing in would be Henderson. And it's because he's the physical of the 3.
Yeah.
And he
has been in the receiving game a little bit too.
Well, I mean, I think the Rams have like 4 of their 5 starting linemen out. So it's just like you need to be able to shed the first line of defense. So like, and Akers is, you know, still there, but he's probably not going to play anymore.
Right.
So it's kind of like process of elimination.
I like it.
I forgot what game we were even on. Oh, Vikings.
Yeah. We are now on Raiders Jacksonville. Yeah, I mean, ETN, there's nobody to bother ETN. I do think Snoop Connor's there, but he's not like a super threat. Christian Kirk looks good. Still looks to be the favorite. Evan Ingram started to come on. We did talk about him a minute ago. Lawrence looks good. I think, you know, I mean, last week was a rough game, but I like Lawrence.
What if I told you that the Raiders are the 5th best team against the run?
I still think ETN gets enough volume and receiving work because there is nobody else. I mean, he's one of the only backs that is a
true one,
right? I mean, other than mixing him, and there's not that many. So I'm cool with ETN. I think he's a start for the rest of the season until. You know,
I didn't bring that up as it pertains to fantasy. 5th ranked against the run, and their record's as bad as it is. That's what I was.
They're just terrible. They have no offense. I don't think. I mean, I don't think I've seen them score a touchdown this year.
Josh McDaniels killed Hunter Renfrow. I'm convinced of it.
But Renfro's been hurt, correct?
I don't think he's been hurt every week.
I don't know. I think he's been hurt from what I understand, because that's why Mac Hollins,
Yeah.
has been in, because Renfro's been hurt. That's what I was under the assumption of. But I could be wrong.
He's wide receiver 88.
Who?
Renfrow. He played weeks 1 and 2. He was out weeks 3 and 4. He played week 5, and he played 7 and 8. He had 1 reception last week.
See, that's.
2
I
targets.
wonder if he's banged up, though. That's my question. Is he banged up? I don't know.
The injury that he was dealing with was a hip injury.
Okay.
I mean, I'm kind of curious what the thoughts are regarding Davante Adams in this group.
I think he's too talented not to keep and have, but boy.
They have him at wide receiver 6 this week.
Yeah, I mean, I still think he has that potential every week. I think the hard part is going to be Derek Carr, not Davante Adams.
I'm looking at this list, though, and there are a good number of people I would start over him that are behind him.
Give me some.
A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle.
No, because Hill's there, and I think it's you're fighting both. I think he's in that range, but yes.
But Tua can support obviously both.
I agree there. But I would have if I had to pick one player for the consistency, and I would probably go with Davante.
Amon-Ra.
Davante.
And then it gets a little weird.
As much as I like Amon, I think he hasn't been 30 points a game like we've come to expect. So
I'm curious why Fantasy Pros has Lockett and DJ Moore above DK Metcalf.
Probably injury wise, they're still worried about injury, I guess.
I thought that would have been last week. I wasn't even expecting.
I didn't expect him to play last week. I probably don't expect him to play this week. Let's see.
I mean, it's a good matchup for Davante too. I mean,
yeah,
shouldn't be any problems.
Arizona, Seattle. Since we're talking about DK,
I'm picking the Jags. By the way,
I'm also going Jags.
You said Seattle and Arizona.
Arizona, yes.
I'm gonna go Seattle. I just like Kyler Murray could put up the numbers he wants, but I don't have faith in him, honestly.
Dude, I like this Seattle team. It's got grit. They play hard. It's a decent Seattle team. Ken Walker looks good. They've got a rush game. They've got 2 great wideouts. Geno's not. He's not a world breaker. He's not ending. He's not breaker of chains, slayer of dragons, mother of children. He's not. But Geno's doing his thing. He manages the game well. He just is a good player. I like Geno, and I'm
Arizona's dead middle of the pack as far as rush defense as well.
Yeah, they don't do anything bad, and they don't do anything particularly that good, but they just are where they need to be in their middle of the pack, and I think they could be a sleeper pick for an NFC wild card. It's gonna be hard with the NFC East having 2 guys that are pretty decent for the wild card spot, but I think they could be a sleeper for that wild card since there's 3 now.
They also are 5th worst against the pass.
Okay, well,
they're an average rush defense and they're an awful pass defense. Yeah. So
I guess 5th worst. That's pretty bad.
That is pretty bad.
I didn't realize
they have on defense.
I will rescind my thing. They are bad at some things.
But yeah, I'm going Seattle. I think based on the statistics too, I think you start Lockett and you start
Pop, lock, and drop it.
UK, and then obviously you're starting Walker until
Bro, start Kenny until Kenny stops starting.
exactly.
Kenny's
What's
been
the
on.
have y'all heard anything about the RB situation for Zona? Is Connor cleared?
So right now he's questionable. I would like to see him come back and actually start performing again. Eno did great. Keep an eye on Eno, but I still think it's James Conner's team.
So would you agree in saying Eno, Hopkins, and Ertz? You think there's a Rondell Moore?
If Connor sits, yes. If Connor doesn't sit, I would be hesitant to play Connor or Eno.
Is there a flex opportunity for Rondell Moore?
For sure.
Yeah. I like what Rondell's been doing. I think D-Hop opens it up. And we kind of talked about this before, is that originally it was going to be Hollywood Brown was going to be this very solid, flexible option, but now it's, pushed to Rondell, but, it gives him the ability to be a flex option.
Yeah, Rondell Moore is ranked 27th on the week, so low end wide receiver 2, high end wide receiver 3.
That's very high end flex. He brought it. I want y'all to know Cooper brought 9 toys in here.
So we're both going Seattle. Pat, you rocking with us or?
Yes, I am. Believe the blue. Going with Gino.
Okay, so kind of the last big one. Well, no, we got 2 more. My fault. Tampa Bay at the Rams. It's that Sunday night game. Originally, this was probably going to be a hype game of 2 real high-powered offenses. Boy, has that changed. I mean, what is going on with Tampa Bay? What's going on with LA? I mean,
I wish I could flex out. The network could flex out.
Yeah.
I mean, Cup's expected to play. That's really all that I care about in this game.
That's really sweet. I mean, I like Mike Evans. I like playoff Lenny. He's been having good. That's about it. Is Godwin even where has Godwin been?
I think he's like at wide receiver 47.
At the top of every person's video that you see, this trade for this player right now. His value is as low as it's gonna be.
This player has 5 seasons of 1,000 plus yards and has an all-time winning quarterback. Who is this player? It's Mike Evans. Trade for him now before it's too late. It's like, no.
I think a lot of Tampa's issues are with everybody but Tom Brady.
Yes, I don't think it's much on Tom. Tom's doing his thing. The offensive line's been banged up, and we talked about it a little bit early at the very beginning of the season where they've had some shifts in offensive line, stuff like that. It's not Brady, really. It's the defense hasn't been as stout as it normally is, and they're getting burned. I mean, shit, Carolina ran for like 400 yards on them. It's like that's not what they're used to dealing with.
But who are they playing?
The Rams, the other team that has absolutely been not. I mean, they've been a shell of themselves, right? So they've been probably. They may be the biggest letdown for me in terms of teams I wanted to see do really well.
I'm probably gonna go with Tampa.
Yeah, I would be hard pressed to go against Tampa.
Make it 3.
And on the app, it's a 50-50 pick. So, Kansas City, Tennessee Titans. Tennessee's 5-2. Kansas City's 5-2. But I think these are two completely different 5-2 teams. Derrick Henry still looks good, but that's about it in Tennessee. Traylon Burks probably going to come back. He's probably going to come back and have some value, but I mean, you get the occasional Robert Woods sighting, and you're like, oh, it's Robert Woods, but you know, I don't know. I'm not. This is not a team that blows me away. It's not a team I want their players for, other than Derrick Henry, obviously. I'm just waiting. But they're 5-2, and they did this last year too, where they won the. I don't know.
What if I told you Andy Reid is 0-4 against the Titans since becoming the Chiefs head coach?
I would tell you Andy Reid's going to probably have Mahomes throw for 500 yards on him this week.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have an impact on me either.
Yeah.
Chiefs.
I guess the big talking point here is going to be Kadarius Toney and the Isaiah Pacheco situation. So Pacheco got the starter role but did not get the starter workload. Kind of annoying, very frustrating. We'll see how that goes going forward. Probably at this point, he's droppable, I think.
Oh no, not Pacheco Mears.
Yeah.
No. You can't drop him a week after he gets named the starter.
I wasn't impressed. You name somebody the starter and then you give him 5 carries. Like, what is this? He didn't get the starter workload. He's not the starter.
You are so impatient.
I know.
Right. He didn't get a starter workload, but they're coming off of a bye week.
Okay.
You can't drop him coming off the bye week. If
I would keep Brian Robinson over
he gets 5 carries, then drop him. But
Brian
you can't
Robinson.
drop him before the game.
Brian Robinson over Pacheco.
Maybe just because they're a throw first offense, but honestly, I think that's
so he's droppable.
No.
Brian Robinson's droppable.
If I had Pacheco, I would not have dropped him.
Interesting. So I dropped Pacheco
because they're in like Brian Robinson. Okay, he's on a trash team.
Yeah, agreed.
For the same reasons you talked about Deonta Foreman, that's Brian Robinson. He's on a trash team. They're going to be playing from behind a lot. The dude does not catch the football. They have not thrown him the football since.
Yeah, which is surprising.
He's already capped. Capped. And he's on a Buns team. Whereas Pacheco is not on a Buns team. And Washington seems to not know what they want to do.
So the current trade value for Brian Robinson is 10. The current trade value for Isaiah Pacheco is 5.
It's because Brian Robinson has had the starting job.
No, I get it.
I think Pacheco has more upside than Brian Robinson.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah. But I think so. If you need to fill a spot, though, I would
feel more comfortable starting Brian Robinson next week than Pacheco.
Next week, yeah.
But if I can stash a guy for the rest of the season,
Pacheco.
I would rather have Pacheco for his upside.
Okay.
Honestly, the Chiefs have a better fantasy playoff schedule than the Commanders, so I think I would go with Patch on this one.
And that's also circling back. Also, part of the reason why I dropped Brian Robinson because
his playoff schedule is terrible. He gets Dallas and Philly and Dallas, Philly,
absolutely atrocious.
Somebody else like Tampa Bay or somebody. It's like, yeah.
If you're at that record, you got to have that kind of foresight. Like, I mean, if you're 5-2, 6-1, you need
right, yeah. If you're in that regards right now, you need to be planning out, way in advance because you've got room to plan. So you're dealing with Giants, a bye week, Giants, San Fran, Cleveland, and Dallas.
Yeah,
that man is literally in the next 10 weeks, he gets Houston, and that is the only.
He's got 2 good weeks.
No, Houston's it.
Who they play the week after Houston?
Philly.
Week before Houston.
Let's see. Hold on. Let me pull it back up. Brian Robinson. Minnesota. Good against the run. Philly. Good against the run. Houston, horrible. Atlanta, New York, San Fran, Cleveland, which actually is a green apparently, and then Dallas.
I don't know if I would say Minnesota is a good against the run. They're in the bottom third.
According to fantasy, they're not.
I look at the yards per. I guess it's different stats we're looking at because I'm looking at yards per carry.
I'm looking at.
And you said this was Brian Robinson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that offensive line's not giving you anything.
Opponent ranking, Minnesota is 10th against the run. According to.
Yep, never mind. I had it filtered wrong. Yeah, they are. My bad. Scrap it. Good catch.
So of his remaining matchups, the only green matchup is Houston and Cleveland.
Well, and what week is that Houston matchup?
Next week.
Okay, so it's not the fantasy playoffs.
No.
Yeah, so I mean
the Cleveland one is in the fantasy playoffs, but
that's the championship weekend.
I'm not depending on that.
Right.
I'm not betting on it.
So you're banking on Brian Robinson to bring you home a ship. Like, you better have another plan. So no, I agree with you. Looking at the numbers.
And Pacheco might not do anything. To me, if volume is king, and next to volume is like how good of the offense the player is in.
Yeah, but he's got to get that volume, and that's what scares me.
But I mean, even saying that, like,
well, CH produced the first 3 weeks with no volume. Right?
Yeah, CH had no volume and was still
astronomically better than.
It's a good debate.
Yeah. I think those two players are probably in the same realm for me, though. They're in that possibly could get you there if you needed it. Pacheco has the most upside, though. But I do think if you're in a pinch and you really need to fill in, I think he could be dropped because I don't think he's going to explode enough to warrant other people going after him drastically.
It totally depends on how the rest of your roster is constructed too, and we don't know all of that. So
and who's available. That's the thing. Like, this time of year is like what upside are you gonna find on the waiver wire?
Yeah.
And I can't really,
Do you even have any free agent budget left?
Me?
Yeah. My man's burnt. You better hope somebody doesn't go down because I have 100 or I have like 90 left and I'm ready to.
I just lit the pile of money on fire like Joker in the Dark Knight.
Let's see. I have. Oh, where is it? Oh, where's my waiver budget?
Daniel, you have $14 left.
Damn.
I thought about it last night, and I was gonna try to bid on a kicker, but I was like, "Yo, I only have $15.
I have 80, so I'm doing good.
I need to save it.
I'm thinking about not running a defense this week.
Yeah, please don't.
Yeah,
please don't.
Well, we're projected at the exact same. I just don't know who I would drop for a fucking defense. I don't have anybody. Do I drop Brian Robinson for a defense? Your ass is going to pick his ass up immediately.
No, I won't because I don't have anybody to drop.
I know.
It's hard with dropping people this time of year.
I mean, I have Freiermuth, but I love Muth.
Freiermuth.
And then I have Hurst, but I don't want to. Yeah. The hard part is I have 4 guys on bye, 5 guys on bye, and I'm like,
Pick your poison.
Mike Thomas has been, dude, he's a vagina. That man, dude, it's been 3 years since you got your injury. Why are you still hurt? Like,
Brian Robinson came back from gunshots before this man.
dude, this man's had 3 years to recover from whatever injury it was. I don't even know if he has an injury or he just doesn't like playing. Like, is it just too cold for him?
They play in a dome.
Let's go the Ravens versus
Throw him off.
No, New Orleans. That's what I was kind of thinking of when I was
Mike Thomas's apparent team.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Guys that have played more snaps for the Saints since 2018, Des Bryant. That man.
I didn't even remember he was on the Saints.
I'm going Ravens.
Yeah, I'm going Ravens as well. But this is a Saints team that's fun to watch. I kind of like what Andy Dalton's getting out there and doing. He's not afraid to throw the ball, and he's not afraid to get it to Olave or throw it into a tight space. Now we saw
the nickname Red Rocket for no reason.
Yeah, now we saw it backfire when he threw 2 pick sixes to the Cardinals within 30 seconds. But I do like watching Andy Dalton play.
It was great until he absolutely blew the game.
It's great till it wasn't.
Yeah. But you take those 2 away, he had a really good game. But
you take those 14 points that he gave the other team away, and well, one of those was not his fault. I will say that.
Is Mark Andrews supposed to play?
I don't know.
Yeah, doesn't sound good.
I'm definitely doing Duvernay because Bateman's out for a little bit.
And I think Isaiah Likely is startable. I talked about this a little bit with Dan the other day. He's a wide receiver, designated a tight end.
So is Pitts, but we saw how that turned out.
Yeah, but look at him now, baby. Late season. So yeah, I think Likely is a decent option if you're the Mark Andrews owner, snag Likely. Just in case, because he had 19 last week. So yeah.
Tight end handcuff.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. Deuce, you want to take us away with your
Yeah, first time in a while with no favorites. So I'm going Jags +2 against the Raiders. Lions +3.5 against the Packers. Falcons +3 against the Chargers. Seahawks +2 against the Cardinals. And then the Panthers at Bengals, I'm going over 42.5.
Okay.
And the lock is the Chargers Falcons because I don't know who Herbert's gonna. I mean, like they have no Williams and no Keenan Allen, so
I need Mike Will to come back, please.
I think you have to wait 3 more weeks for that, buddy. Honestly, I'm surprised that it wasn't worse. I was watching that game live. Like, I'm surprised he's not out for longer.
What do you think of this trade, by the way? I'm sending Donta, Curtis Samuel, and Dak Prescott for Amari Cooper and Allen Robinson.
It sounds like one good piece out of all of it.
Actually,
no, I probably wouldn't. I would like. I guess that's basically like Foreman and Dak for Cooper.
Correct.
What's the rest of your receiver? What's your running backs and receivers situation?
Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon, Travis Etienne. On the other side, I have Nuke Hopkins, Amon-Ra, Curtis Samuel, Christian Kirk, Alec Pierce, and I have Mike Will, who's out.
Who's your quarterback?
I have Dak, Geno, and Kirk Cousins.
I think you're fine doing that. I would want Cooper. I think you're fine at running back, and I think Cousins and Geno are fine at quarterback with Dak gone.
Yeah, and that's my thought. If I can send Dak, which I like Dak, but Gino's been suffice, and so has Kirk. Running back wise, I have Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon, ETN, and Najee. So I can start 2 and play a flex if I need to, and that flex can be a wide receiver, but I have 3 if I need it. So right now I've been starting Jacobs, Mixon, ETN. Wide out, I'm a little less consistent. So I have Christian Kirk, who's been great. I mean, he's still a top 10, top 20 guy, numbers wise, and then Curtis Samuel's 22nd, but the consistency's not there. And then I had Mike Will, who's been hurt and banged up, and he's out for 4 more weeks. I'm 5-3, so I want to continue to climb.
Right.
So I just think that gives me a little bit more depth. Now, the other option I had was Donta Foreman for Brandon Ayuk straight up.
I think I would rather take the 1. I think I would rather do the Cooper trade.
I agree. And that's kind of what I told the guy. I think that's a decent backup option. And I will hear it out once the backup happens. But for now, that's what I'm kind of leaning.
Yeah. No, the best player in the trade is Cooper. So I would make the trade.
The only other downside is I should target a tight end, but I have Kyle Pitts, so I'm actually happy now that he's been producing. So I'm looking to take that league.
Yeah, I would go ahead and accept it if I was you.
Well, the only problem is, so we kind of agreed to it, but he wants to see how Donta does this week with Chuba Hubbard. And I told him that's fine. You know, not trying to screw anybody over, not trying to sell anybody on some fake hype. So I'm going to give him this week. Also, all of his guys are on bye. So if I did that trade, he would get Dak on bye and Curtis Samuel on bye. Somebody else is on bye. So he would lose 2 more players. So, you know, it would hurt him a little bit more this week. And we're playing each other this week, so we're going to get the trade done after we play each other just to see.
That's fair.
Yeah. Now, if Donta absolutely loses out to Chuba, I'm going to be disappointed, and the trade probably won't go through, and I'll do the Ayuk trade. But, you know.
I'm sure you could get away with Dak and Curtis Samuel for Ayuk if Foreman.
The guy needs a running back.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
So it's not the Samuel was just I needed that trade to be even, and I think he needs a quarterback and he needs a running back. The guy that's getting the Amari Cooper guy, but in order to boost that value, because Donta and Dak for Amari Cooper I think was a push. So in order to add the value, I added Curtis Samuel and Allen Robinson's a throwaway.
Indeed.
Yeah. I mean, he literally, as soon as he comes to my roster, I'm dropping him and I'm picking up Hunter Renfrow or somebody.
So.
I don't even know what to think of. I have nothing to say on the Renfrow thing right now. You're going to have to do that and save that for the next episode.
Yeah. But yeah, there we go. We will, let's go to our brand and let's go rock.
I thought that. Oh my god.
We will catch you guys next week.